Hey everybody, welcome to another stream. Currently looking for a game, 15 plus 10. Let's see how long this takes, hopefully not too long. Hope you're all doing well. Please remember to like and subscribe to my videos. We're playing Matuta, Neta. Starting to think a lot more people are watching my videos than I actually realized, because now everybody's playing my opening against me. Now, in previous videos I've played this move knight f3, which is very interesting, but today I'm not feeling in such an aggressive mood, and we'll play something very simple here. And some of you might think that I'm totally nuts playing something so simple and boring, but for me this works really well. So the idea is to get a good endgame after pawn takes, queen takes, king takes, and we'll see how this goes. Now the reason why this is nice to play for white is because I can control the square. It's my pawn, moving it to c3. But let's just think about this quickly. What is the idea here normally? Just trying to work out if the bishop should go to c4 first. Okay, so my opponent's probably aiming for quick development, moving the bishop to g4 and castling long. I will put my king on c2, so I'm not too concerned about that. So this is a relatively simple position to play. I see my opponent's one of those guys that moves really fast. Okay, so now he probably wants to play bishop to c5. I think I'm going to prevent him from doing that by playing bishop e3. And now he probably wants to castle long. I'm looking at bishop c4. If he castles long, can I take there? No, because then he's got bishop there, check, and I'll pick up my bishop. But I don't think it's a bad idea to put my bishop there to put a bit of pressure on his king. Oops. So let's see. Bit strange developing my bishops before my knights. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this. It's giving it added extra attack on f7. Obviously I can't take if he does castle. Get my opponent there. Now the best squares for my knight, that's the question. I'd like to get a knight to d5. This looks like a juicy square. The only thing that makes my position slightly better is I can actually place a piece there, but my opponent could chase it, so the position's pretty balanced. I think it's most people don't really like in-games, whereas I quite love them. It's a bit strange, really not sure where to put the knights. Okay, so I'm going to keep this guy back for now. I think moving a knight here is not a bad idea. Gives extra support there. Maybe ideas of going there. Okay, castle king side. I definitely want to get my king off this line over here, because that could be a problem later. So king c2. Thing is, it's really hard for black to come up with a plan here, I believe. I'm wondering if I can grab this pawn on a7. Let's see, bishop takes, knight takes bishop, knight takes b6, a4, king b7, a5. Probably too slow. Wonder if I play here first, and if he doesn't take, or if he does, that could become a threat, because then when he plays b6 I've got a5 immediately. I don't really mind him swapping off this bishop, but at the same time I think I kind of want to keep it on. I want to keep this bishop on because it's kind of keeping that bishop from his best square, which is e6. Also, black's development is a bit weird here. So now the question is, can we take the knight and play the position from there, or do we move the bishop again? So I'm looking at bishop takes knight, pawn takes, knight c4. Also looking at knight c4. If knight takes, I can take his knight, and if I play knight c4 and he takes my knight, I can move my bishop to c4. Could also move my bishop to h5. And where's this knight gonna go? Could maybe go here. So the question is, am I willing to part with one of my bishops? I think I'm going to go with this one. Now, got to be careful of this move, or do I? Because I've got b4, let's go with knight f3. It's developing. So ideally, this would be a nice idea. Okay. So here I'm looking at something quite interesting. So I want to play bishop here. I'm hoping he goes c6. Then I go check, bishop there, take, rook takes, and then b4, and I win the knight. Let's play this move. My opponent's playing very, very fast, which is never a good idea. Often simple positions are not that simple. And the knight still can't move, so you're giving away a bishop and a knight for a pawn. That's not great. That's really not great. Okay, it's an interesting move. Okay, so here I'm going to play a little bit faster, just purely because now I've won a piece and I don't want to lose on time. And as I say that, I slow down. Alright, so I want to play my rook to d1, trading a pair of rooks, but if I do that, this little guy is going to be undefended and I won't be able to move my knight. On second thoughts, maybe I should do it. This is a great square for my knight. Let's go with this move. Okay, so basically here we just want to swap off pieces and hopefully it will get us a winning endgame. I think maneuvering the knight to h4 is definitely the best plan. Got to keep control of the square there. He's got ideas of take, king takes, and then rook here if I move the knight. If I move there, he's got rook takes, king takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, but then I've got knight versus all these pawns. Might actually be the way to go. Let's go with this. I'm up 2 pawns. Obviously I've got to take with the pawn buddy. And this is ideally what you want to aim for. Now the whole goal is to win the pawns, get another pawn through, get a queen and win the game. So hopefully I can demonstrate this nicely. So we'd like to block this pawn. I think the best option is to maneuver the knight to f5 first. That was a really bad move on his part, because surely I fork the pawn and the king now. And he's got no access points, so let's take the pawn. Let's move, he's running out of squares to move, so let's move the king a bit closer. Still closer. Notice how little squares his pawns can move. Okay, so he's obviously going after my knight. I'd like to get at one of his pawns. So how do we do this? I could move my knight there, but then he just protects. So I think I need to go back here. But where and how do I access his pawns from there? That is the question. Well, let's just play this move to start off with. So ideally if I could get a pawn there, it would be really good. We should carry on trying to restrict him. Some ideas to play h4 next. Okay, so the key in these types of positions is to try and not swap off pawns but pieces. Okay, don't think that was very good, because now I can go, should have actually, instead of h4 I should have gone there. The big problem for black is he can't really move anything, so he's kind of in zugzwang. Okay, now I can play this, winning the pawn. Get another fork. Chess endgames are really important. It really teaches you how to play with the pieces, and the better you understand endgames, the more it's going to improve your chess. Notice how much time my opponent's used. Not much. Really gets to me how these guys play so fast. What's the point of playing a 15+10 game if you're going to take 2 seconds per move? Black's got serious problems now. My king can always come this way to defend this pawn. Gonna win that pawn. Gonna win this pawn. Could even win that pawn. And then these guys can march. So normally when I try and find someone to play in a 15+10 game, not many of the stronger players want to play that time limit for some reason. So I have to set the rating so that someone who's 500 higher or lower than me can always challenge. So unfortunately, instead of getting stronger players, I sometimes get lower rated players, but still not a bad game. Now my second move, d3, was a very strange one in the beginning of the game. Just swapping off queens early on, but it's just to get this endgame, and as you can see, it's been very successful. Sometimes you just got to play the way you're feeling on the day. If you're not feeling aggressive, play less aggressive. I just hope my opponent's not going to sit here for 15 minutes and 23 seconds. It should be very unsportsmanlike. Notice I didn't do anything like super crazy in this game. I just played my pieces to good squares. Noticed when my opponent moved his knight to the edge of the board that he had very few squares. Took away the square c6 with bishop d5. He didn't have to play c6, but I had a feeling he was going to do it, and then trapped the knight. It's very easy when the position looks simple to make a mistake, and I think that's what black did here. There's not going to be much analysis after this. It's been relatively simple, and this is the type of chess I really like to play. Simple, easy chess, not too complicated. I really like the tactical stuff, but this is a lot simpler, not much hard work. Is this guy really going to sit and wait here? Now what they do is they normally sit and wait here like forever, and then they think that you're not going to play a move, and eventually they play a move. Very strange. Guy's been taking how many seconds per move, and now all of a sudden he's taking so long in a losing position. Even if he gets stockfish now, even if he puts a position on stockfish, I'll still beat it. So I'm not scared. I doubt that's what he's doing. He's just being very unsportsmanlike. It's the first time I'm getting this. So sorry if this video is really long, guys. And you're welcome to skip forward. I wish I could. But I'll sit here. I want to take the point. The next lesson we're going to talk about something quite interesting. I kind of wanted to do it this lesson already, but I was just didn't have the time to do preparation. There's a very interesting DVD that Maurice Ashley has out. He's a grandmaster and commentator in chess. It's called The Secret of Chess. And basically, when he was trying to become a grandmaster, he saw martial arts known as Aikido. And the whole idea of Aikido is to use your opponent's energy against them and get that to beat the opponent. And he thought of how to apply that in chess, and that's something we'll look at in the next episode. Basically, the idea is when you play a game, you need to see what's the drawback of every single move. And I'll explain it in much more detail in the upcoming video. I think what I'll try and do is I'll give you 2 examples, and then we'll play a game trying to use the idea. let, let me know in the comments what you guys think about people sitting here and just letting the time run and wasting a person's time. I really don't think it's very good sportsmanship. I'm also going to be looking at some of the fundamentals, which will be endgames, checkmate with king and queen, checkmate with king and rook, checkmate with two bishops, checkmate with bishop and knight, and some pawn endgames, rook endgames. These fundamentals are things that really improves a person's chess. I hope you guys are still doing lots of tactical puzzles. I cannot illustrate how important that sort of stuff is to improve your game. What was the goal that we set? What rating did I want to aim for again? I can't remember in my previous video. Were we aiming for 2100? Not sure. Well, only another almost 10 minutes of me talking and us just sitting here. I'm really sorry about this, guys. You can definitely fast forward or move forward in the video. Why not just resign? You know you're losing, just resign. So if the king moves here, or anywhere here, I will just take the pawn. So probably king there, taking this guy, and I can play king here. And the king can't move, neither can any of his pawns. Well, the king can move, he'll have to move back, then I can take this pawn, and I can take these pawns at my leisure, after which I'll move my knight, probably to c7. Sorry about all the arrows, and then to d5, and then I would just push the pawns. And if his king comes back this way, I'll push this pawn, and if his king stays there, I will promote this pawn. So even though the plan in endgames are normally many moves, something like 20 moves, it is really easy to work out a plan. So the plan is to get rid of these pawns and then to push this guy. And this guy, if the king goes after that one, there's no other way he can stop these pawns, so he'd have to use his king. If he doesn't, then I'll get to queen this pawn. Imagine being on the black side of this position. Your opponent played d3 on move 2, allowed for you to swap off queens, stop him from castling, and then you land up in this position. That's also why I love the move d3. Really simple to play. Scandinavian players are always aiming for attacking positions. So if you play d3, their logical idea is to swap off queens, go to an endgame, which is not what they're looking for, and then you end up winning quite easily. That's why I like the move d3. There's another similar idea where you play it for black. So white plays d4, black plays d6, white plays c4, and black plays e5. Then pawn takes e5, d takes e5, queen takes queen, king takes queen. And you got that endgame for black. And the win rate for black is actually pretty good in that position, and that's against the queen's gambit. So sorry about the loud noise. Like I said, I live in a block of flats, and there's a guy here with a motorbike. He doesn't know what a silencer is, so he likes to make a lot of noise early in the morning and when he comes in. So sip some of my coffee. Also let me know in the comments what type of videos you guys would like to see. I'm very keen to make videos on things you guys want to see. I'm actually getting a bit tired of playing games where it's just Scandinavians. I'm hoping for the next game when I play black that I'll get a D4 or maybe a C4. Must maybe organize a game against one of my pupils that I've coached in the past, and maybe we can decide before the game to get a D4 game, make things a little bit more interesting, so you guys can see what my recommendation is against an opening against other than E4. It's always good to change things up a bit, even though I do recommend the Scandinavian. I don't want to set every single game, like I don't want to play it against E4 and then also get it when I'm playing white. It's just very boring. Then again, it does make you quite competent in those positions. Can you believe it? The guy's been sitting here for how many minutes, and our time's almost caught up. Can't believe what this guy's doing, guys. Really sorry about this. No, it's not my fault. It's the one disadvantage of playing 15 plus 10. Guys play fast, and then if they do get a bad position, they just let the time run down, which is very unsportsmanlike. But that's chess for you. There's no rule that says I can't do it. Also let me know in the comments, guys, who do you guys think is going to be the next challenger for Magnus Carlsen? Obviously only the group of people that are in the candidates can be one of the options. Obviously you can't choose Ferrugia because it's not in that group, but who do you guys think is going to win the candidates, and who do you think is going to be the challenger for Magnus Carlsen, and do you think that he's going to get dethroned? I would love to see the Von Aronian play against Magnus Carlsen for the world title, but I don't think he's going to make it. Ian might do quite well. Also Rojabov, but we'll see. Ideally I'd have loved to have seen Hikaru in the candidates, but he's not there. I think Caruana is the strongest, but I just don't think he can take Magnus Carlsen in the World Championship match. When it's one-on-one preparation, I think he just doesn't stand a chance. In mixed tournaments, he's got very good chances, but not in a one-on-one battle. Magnus is going to beat him every time. His play is too solid. He needs to mix things up a bit, make it very aggressive. So we'll see what happens. Can't believe what this guy's doing. And he's definitely still online. Would you guys ever do this? If you were losing, would you let the time run? I hope not. Matuta neta. Matuta neta. Wonder where this person's from. Well, we're almost there, guys. Like I said, I'm not going analyze this game. It's fairly simple. We'll have a quick look for a few seconds, but not going to analyze it in too much detail. It's relatively simple. For those of you that have stuck through this video, thank you. You definitely have a lot of patience. The most devastating move that was ever made. 97, forking the king and the pawn, and black sits there in complete paralyzation. Yeah. Sorry guys, it's too much coffee. Anyways, almost there. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Yes, finally. And black timed out. Alright guys, so let's quickly have a look. Alright, so if you're not feeling in the mood to attack or any serious conflict, you can try d3. It's the aim of getting to this endgame. It's relatively simple. The main thing to remember here is you want your pawn on c3 to keep black's pieces out of that position over there, or that square. You should have this square, but black can also keep you out of there by playing c6. However, most guys think this endgame's easy, which it is, but you have to realize to keep control over that square. I didn't even manage to get to that square in this position really, except for the bishop. I didn't have to. Knight c6. I really thought this was going to be the idea, which would have been much better, I think. Black should have tried that, but he went e5, bishop e3, just stopping his pieces from developing. Bishop c4, f6, knight there, castle, getting the king off the line. Alright, so the first strange move. Now notice, if we can just take away that square, we're going to win the knight. So bishop there, knight there, take, knight f3, bishop there, and this allowed me to play this move. I think after this move you really should just maybe bring the knight back or develop the bishop. Anything is better than what he did, but I had a feeling he was going to play c6, which gave me this idea of trapping the knight. It's a pity I couldn't actually win more pieces. This king d6 was actually pretty good. Let me just look for a few seconds if it was another way. I had this option, but after this, game is very simple, especially if my opponent's just allowing me to swap off. I've just got the extra knight, so the main thing is don't swap off pawns, keep the pawns on the board. Then the goal is to try and win the pawns, get a pawn through and win the game, and that's pretty much what we did here. It was also very hard for black to move, so this was actually not so great. I could just play that move, but played it afterwards, and as you guys saw, my move paralyzed him to complete oblivion. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please remember to like and subscribe if you really enjoyed it. In the description is a link where you can give a donation to show your support. It would be really appreciated. Thanks guys. See you guys next week for another game.